tell you what, there's nothing I love better than doing a little pre-season scouting. I tell you what, anymore, I have just as much fun checking these things as I do actually going out and setting a trap on the line. Hey folks, this week we got an exciting show for you. We're headed to Mississippi, the Magnolia State. We're chasing American beaver. This is trapping time.
Well, look who I got out of bed this morning to go check traps.
Right where I caught my first coyote. Welcome to Trap 101. It just never gets old seeing those dogs bouncing.
This is my story. This is my time. This is Trapping Time. Trapping Time is brought to you by Trapping Girl Incorporated, Night Owl Lures, Old South Lures, Southern Snares and Supply, SMOKEY'S Deer Lure, Webster's Predator Control, Duke Traps, Wolf Creek Products, Sawmill Creek Baits and Lures.
All right, guys, we're here in Mississippi, and what we've got here, we've got this big beaver slough. And what ends up happening, you've got your main pond back here, but you get these little tiny ponds, and then it's right beside the main stream. And when we came in here yesterday, we noticed they just had this place tore completely up. I mean, trails going everywhere. It was almost a deal you didn't have enough traps to set. So what we did here, we seen a really nice run, and we got out here in this channel. These beavers down here, because it's all mud bottom, they get a nice channel. It's very defined. You can actually walk across it with your feet and feel it, can't you, Jason?
Oh yeah,
I mean, there's no doubt about it. Well, we're using Duke 330s on 8-stands, so we can slide those 8-stands right in there and really plug up a hole, and it doesn't take a lot of fencing in like we have to use when we're back in Pennsylvania, because we just don't, it's a whole different type of habitat and environment that we're dealing with here. But looks like a pretty nice beaver there. If Jason grab a hold of it and get it up out of there, we might be able to see it. Big female beaver. She come right through there and she got busted up pretty good. We use a T-bar stake to stake them down in there, because a lot of times, especially with a beaver like that, they're going to thrash around a little bit, and we want to make sure, now granted they're not going to go anywhere, but we don't want to have another animal drag it off or anything like that. So all right, we're going to get this beaver out here. Jason's going to remake this set, and we'll show you a little bit about what we're talking about as far as getting the set remade, and maybe we'll catch us another beaver. All right, now Jason found his channel. I kind of found it by accident yesterday because I was walking through there and about fell in it. But he's going to reach down there and he's going to try and pull up his H-stand, which is down in the mud. There you go. He's going to put it on that H-stand. Get it in there. If you guys have never used an H-stand, they have changed the game. I used to always make diving sets and have to wire it off to the log, but this way here we can take and get a whole lot better result. It doesn't matter, we always say, but sometimes it seems like it'll work a little bit better if you can get that trap completely submerged in the underneath the top of the water, because there is opportunity here to catch an otter, especially with these channels. These otters are going to come down through here and they are going to just be jumping in. They're like mink on crack sometimes, and they're going to check all this stuff out and hit these little channels. And we want to make sure. Beavers are fun to catch, but it's really fun catching otters. Well, Jason's got that pin back down in there just like we want. It's not going to take a lot of fencing. That log had been right there anyways. They're going to naturally come down that channel, so it's really not going to take a whole lot. But he looks like he's looking for something. You walk over 100 dead trees until you need one.
Yeah, you're in the woods and you can never find a stick when you want one.
There he goes, Paul Bunyan. There you go. And guys, really, it's not a whole lot for fencing. It's just something to get them, just to make sure they don't try to swim over top of it and run into the trap. Well, there's a remade set on this big old beaver, and we're going to drag it out of here and see if maybe we can catch something else.
From the hills of West Virginia, Smokey's Deer Lures presents the first and only real pre-orbital gland lure in the world. Applying pre-orbital gland lure to a licking branch will allow you to take a complete inventory of the bucks at your favorite hunting spot. Get yours at SMOKEY'sDeerLure.com.
Well, you see, trappers are a special breed of people. We're dedicated, committed, and passionate about what we do and who we are. Each and every one of us has an intense desire to be the very best we can. So in the world of skinny jeans, man buns, and pumpkin spice lattes, sometimes you just have to stop, push back, and tell the world, that's not me. Whether you're from the far north or in the deep south, and anywhere in between, Southern Snares can help you succeed at getting the job done and being who you are.
Okay, we're down here in Mississippi. What we got here, there's a channel that goes from the main creek, goes back up here, and crosses over into the big beaver slough that goes way back up through here. Well, beaver and otter have a nice channel and a crossover cut down through here, so we come down in here and sink a 330 right down here at a choke point where it enters the water, and we connected on a Mississippi beaver this morning. Not exactly what we was looking for. It's kind of more targeted towards otter, but we'll kind of take either one of them. So yeah, I mean, down in a spot like this, you can't help but set a trap. Anything that's coming out of this creek going that way towards the slough is going to use this channel right up through here. So it's not a big beaver, but it's still a beaver nonetheless. So the landowners back here will be happy. They've really got this place dammed up this year. A lot different than it has been in the past few years. But it's just so big back in here, and the access is the biggest thing. So, all right, well, I'm going to get this beaver out of here, and we're going to try to put this set back in the way it was, hoping to catch one of these Mississippi otters while we're down here. All right, we got the beaver out of the set. We're going to get this put back in here. Now, instead of setting this 330 back up here, I want to try to get it back out so that I can get the 330 completely submerged under the water. If all possible, I like to have at least that water just over the top so there's nothing sticking out. If you can kind of feel the main channel down through here. You can kind of feel that cup with your foot down in there. Like right there's the edge of it, and then when you hit it, you know it. We're going to take our H stand, and this bottom here is a little softer, so I can actually get it on the H stand up here where I can see what I'm doing a little better, and then we want to line that right up in the center of that channel. That way you don't want to be offset, so when any animals come down through here, they're naturally traveling that channel. You don't have to guide them in. But you want it right in the center. Sink that down to the bottom so that your trap's just a couple inches below the water. Make sure you get your safeties off, and be careful when working with that 330 under that water. Keep your hand on it. Keep your hand on top. But get your safeties off, because there's nothing more frustrating than coming down and finding it tripped and finding your safeties are still on it and laying in bed wondering if what come down the road. All right, we got that in. We still have our T-bar in. The only fencing I'm going to do on this is just kind of lay something across the top of the water just to get him already, if he's coming up this way, so he sees that there and he's going to naturally dive. I mean, other than that, with that trap right in that channel, there shouldn't be much blocking needed on the side for this. So, all right, well, we're going to get back up out of here, and we've got a couple other properties to check today to see how we did, so hopefully we can connect on some more. What I did here is actually, we have the main channel that comes down through here, And this actually leads about a mile down into the main river. What comes up here, and off of this, we have these little tributaries that are coming into it. And these otter and beaver are going up these little ones. So we came in here, and it's kind of the perfect setup. We know they're coming up here. There's tracks in the mud. They have the channel wallered out. Right where it comes up, these tree roots are washed out, and where they're going underneath of it, a 330 basically filled that hole up perfect. No brush needed, no blocking anything. So we took our Duke 330 and set it on an H stand, and then we buried it right down underneath that. So anything coming down, up or down this creek, when they went to come up this little tributary, had no choice but to come through this creek, or through our 330 when they coming up this creek. We're gonna try to step down here, pick him up out of here. Now this water's still come up a lot. It's not quite as bad back here as what we thought. We have some places where we were checking traps, the water was 6 inches deep, and it's 6 foot now. So, but this water, I set this channel, they've got it walled out so bad, it's about waist deep, even though it's only that wide. Get our T-bar pulled up out of there. That's another nice Mississippi beaver. We're trapping on this property. We've trapped this property, I think this is about the 5th year in a row. Definitely not quite the population they did have here, but the landowner's still happy. He still gets little problems up in these main ponds with them clogging up, so regardless of the size of the beaver, this is what we're here for, basically to help the landowner out, keep his fields from flooding out and his ponds up there from getting dammed up too bad and washing out the breastworks. So, I mean, it was a pretty simple setup, pretty slam dunk. Just the way, I mean, you look around, you find those places sometimes where you don't have to do a whole lot of fencing, a whole lot of brushing. It keeps everything more natural. You're going to get less refusals that way because the animals are naturally traveling up that little tiny channel. All right, well, we have a few more traps to check here. Hopefully the weather holds out and we don't get blown away by a tornado before we get out of the great state of Mississippi here. So, all right, we're going to head on down the line and see what else we have.
Man, beaver trapping is totally insane. Hey, when we come back, we're headed to the trapping time set of the week.
Folks, be sure to check out our all-star lineup for the upcoming season. New for 2018 is the hard-hitting Blackout Predator bait. If you're looking for a beaver-based bait with some kick, this is it. We're also proud to add to the batting order our line of mouse-based baits. If you're looking for a mice bait so pure it's practically eating cheese in the container, then you will want to try Peyton's Pretty Mouse. Maybe you're looking for a bait with some long-range appeal for those cold winter nights, then you've got to try Peyton's Dirty Mouse. When you're serious about trapping predators like we are, then be sure to make your next purchase at TrappingTimeTV.com.
Duke Traps has the most complete product line of game traps in the world. Check out the full line of body grippers for beaver, raccoon, muskrat, and more. Duke has homeowners covered as well with a full line of standard and heavy-duty live cage traps. Duke has over 30 models of animal control devices that can help you with your trapping needs. Duke now offers the number 550 and larger 650 coil springs, plus their newly developed number 2 dogless for catching coyotes. Get more information at DukeTraps.com. Duke, America's best trap value.
Okay, we're still down here in Mississippi trapping. Got a slide wire right here set up for beaver. Actually had the caster mount and everything set up here, and this was the original trap bed. The water level's been fluctuating so much on us down here. It keeps dropping and dropping, so been just kind of sliding the trap back a little bit and to kind of add a little more brushing in, kind of getting the trap further away from the attractant. And it's been here for about 4 days now, so I actually come in here and it looks like we connected on a beaver. I can actually see him down here on the slide wire. I'm gonna go ahead and slide him up here, just take a good look at him, and then we'll get this set remade. Oh yeah, he's kind of all tangled up. Not a bad Mississippi beaver. The landowner will be happy because they've been tearing the place up a lot and digging up the banks, damming stuff up. So pretty much in this situation, regardless of the size, it's still a good thing to catch one. I'm gonna go ahead and get him untangled, and then I'll show you what we did to try to remake this set with our fluctuating water here. Okay, we got the beaver out of the trap. We got our drowning bag back out there with our cable. We're using a 3/32 7x7 drowning cable, Duke number 4. What we're going to do is right there is where our attractant was. We're just going to kind of create a channel for them to come up in because the way this water keeps fluctuating so much on us. Just kind of guide them in naturally. They'll think stuff's kind of washed up with that leaves and debris. Kind of hollow out a spot going both ways here. We're going to come back in, and that trap's going to be about that deep in the water. I'm going to set it a little deeper than what we normally do, just because we're still expecting this water to drop a little bit more on us. So, just like when you're trapping anything else, you want a good trap bed, and you want that trap solid. Now I'm going to put that trap down in there like that. That way, that animal's got to come in between the jaws when they lift up. Just going to come down in here, settle that down in, use those levers, rock that trap down in there so it's good and solid. So if he comes up along there and he steps on those levers, he don't get that trap to rocking on him. Going to go ahead and put a little more lure on this one. We were actually using Trapping Time's Intruder. It's a caster-based beaver call lure. Find us a stick here. And it doesn't take a lot. I mean, just something about a bean size is what we're looking for. And we're going to stick this back up here on this little cutout we have, just like that. Maybe take another little guide stick and just kind of naturally fence him in. Doesn't have to look like a Mountain Man Ford or a Lincoln log set. Just something when he's coming down through here, his path of least resistance is going to be right up this little water channel to check out this scent, thinking there's someone new moving into his area. Okay, that's a remake on our drowning set for beaver. We got a few more traps to check today, and we'll see what we get. All right, we're still down here in Mississippi checking our beaver line. We're getting ready to pull everything. Yesterday we had a bunch of bad weather come in on us. Tornadoes touched down a couple towns over, and then there's a bunch of rain coming still. Tricks are all getting a little bit too high to start trying to keep trapping in. But as we're pulling our line here, we're coming out here. We actually, on this landowner's property, he's got 3 ponds going back up here behind us. And these beaver are coming in here and they're damming up the overflows. Backing up, got the water coming over the road on him. So he asked us if we'd come in here and try to catch some of these beaver out for him. We set this trap up the other day. When we set this up, this water was only about that deep. And there was just a nice little narrowed spot naturally where they're coming down through here. Just perfect for a 330 to set in with very minimal blocking. So we set it up, and then we come through this morning and got ourselves a big Mississippi beaver. The landowner will be happy to get that out of here. I mean, he's been fighting these beaver, he said, for several years now, and just about time he gets rid of them and starts getting things cleaned up again, some more move right back in on him. So hopefully we can help him out here and cut the population down some. We're not going to remake this because, like I said, we're trying to get our line pulled out of here before this storms move in and flood us the rest of the way out. So, but like I said, it's a very simple set. We just had that 330 just kind of right in here in this natural choke down point. We set that 330 in. Usually try to get that 330 to where it's just below the water. So that way there's nothing really for a refusal, nothing for them to see or get shy of. All right, well, let's catch on this one. We have a few more to check here, and then hopefully we can beat the storms and get out of here.
Well, you see, trappers are a special breed of people. We're dedicated, committed, and passionate about what we do and who we are. Each and every one of us has an intense desire to be the very best we can. So in the world of skinny jeans, man buns, and pumpkin spice lattes, sometimes you just have to stop, push back, and tell the world, that's not me. Whether you're from the far north or in the deep south, and anywhere in between, Southern Snares can help you succeed at getting the job done and being who you are.
From the hills of West Virginia, Smokey's Deer Lures presents the first and only real pre-orbital gland lure in the world. Applying pre-orbital gland lure to a licking branch will allow you to take a complete inventory of the bucks at your favorite hunting spot. Get yours at SMOKEY'SDeerLure.com.
Hey folks, if you use that little tip right there, I'm sure it's going to put more fur in your shed and improve your success down the line. Now let's get back in the water and get back after the beavers.
Okay, we're down here in Mississippi still, running our beaver line back here on the slough on our good friend Justin Rogers' place. Got me a nice beaver here in a Duke 330. Where I set this at, the main slough's here in behind me, and there's these little channels that are crossing over going to the river on this side. Well, you come back in here and you got to kind of watch because it's flat. There's water laying everywhere. Some are actually channels, some are just water. But a lot of times when you step in them or get to feeling around, you can feel that channel in the bottom, that hard bottom that's kind of bellied out. I mean, you see the difference from when you step in it to when you step out of it. And if actually you follow it up this way, it actually goes right up around there and goes back to the main slough, and then right down through here, and it goes down to the river. So what I did was we sunk this 330 in there on an H stand. Water level's about the perfect height for it, and we connected on a big Mississippi beaver here. Yeah, that's a brute. That's got to be pushing 50 plus pounds on that one. Go ahead and get this out of here, get this reset. Main target, what we're trying to target is the otter down here. They run these exact same channels these beaver do. So beaver trapping or otter trapping, you're going to catch either one of them. Unfortunately, there's a lot more beaver down here than there is otter. So we're going to get him pulled out of here and get this reset back in, and I'll show you what we did. Okay, we got the beaver out of the set, and we're going to get it put back in this channel here using a Duke 330, using an H stand. You want to feel for that channel down there and get it right in the center of that channel. Right there should actually be the center. Kind of push some of this brush back a little bit here. Get our trap hooked to this. You want to be careful handling the 330s, just fooling with them, pushing them around the sticks and something. You don't want to bump that trigger and set that thing off. We'll lay our chain out there, leave our safeties on. We'll rock that down in until we're bottomed out, and our top of our trap's just about an inch or so under the water. Get our chain here. We T-bar these down, that way just in case they kick off that and any kind of current or anything don't carry them down, and we're not trying to find them down here in this muddy, murky water. I didn't have a whole lot of fencing in here just because that trap fits perfect down inside that channel. The bank's naturally guiding him down in. Want to reach in, starting out at the levers and come in until we feel our safeties, and then make sure we flip those off. We got those off. The only thing I had was just this stick here, or this little log, just kind of laid up across the top of it. Alright, that's another remake on it. Hopefully we'll still be able to connect on either another nice beaver or Mississippi otter.
Hey guys, there's just something about Mississippi that's just a special place for me. We've been going down there for over 5 seasons now, and we have an ultimate blast while we're down there. We're always making memories, and we're always meeting up with some great friends, and just having a big old time. Be sure to join us next week, because we're going to make some other memories when the girls are going on their coyote line, and we're going to see how they do when they're chasing the dogs. Like we always say, we're keeping the tradition alive here at Trapping Time.